Once again, I'm Alan Rigg, lead pastor of Sola Church, and we are launching in Santa Monica this fall. So we're about 6 months out from our launch. That means that there are things we can't do, but there are also things we can do. Since we're not meeting yet as a church, we can jump online and we can connect connect this way and offer some encouragement along the way as we all kind of navigate this real uncertain time that we all find ourselves in. So we've been talking about how this is a super unique thing for so many of us to be experiencing the same thing at the same time. And there's no doubt that we have reason and a season to pray, right? We've got an unusual reason to pray, but we've also got an unusual season to pray. We've got more time on our hands than we normally would have. So we're talking about the opportunity to pray and really how to pray. Maybe you're one of the many people who have questions about, how do I pray? Like, what do I say? How do I say it? So when Jesus gave his first followers what we call the Lord's Prayer, he gave us a model for prayer. He gave us a model that we can follow, and it helps us find a way to say the things to God that we want to say. And so if you missed episodes 1 and 2, I encourage you to go back and check those out. Today in episode 3, we're going to be talking about the third petition in the Lord's Prayer. And so as we find it in Matthew chapter 6, that next petition is, "Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." When God created us, he created us with free will. And it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. I mean, had God not given us free will, a relationship with him really wouldn't have meant anything. If the people that we love and who love us back, well, if they loved us back because they had to and not because they wanted to and because they chose to, that wouldn't be anywhere near as meaningful, would it? But God created us with free will, which means that we can choose to have a relationship with him or not to. We can choose to pray or not to. I wonder though if God's ever had second thoughts, right? Because the truth is, so many of us are self-willed. I love it when Eugene Peterson, in one of his books, referred to prayer as unselfing. So thinking about the 3 requests that we've looked at so far, the 2 already and the 1 now, the 3 taken together, that first petition, "Hallowed be your name," is unself-seeking. That second petition, "Your kingdom come," is unself-serving. This third petition, "Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven," is being unself-willed. And so that's maybe a way to think about that. There are nearly 8 billion wills on earth and only 1 will in heaven. So the question then is, whose will is it going to be? I do think that on some level, we're fearful. On some level, we're afraid that if we embrace the will of God for our lives, that things wouldn't turn out the way we want them to. And certainly right now, there's a lot of reason to feel afraid, right? We're afraid of getting sick. We're afraid of losing a loved one. We're afraid of, continuing too long without income and not being able to pay our bills. We're afraid of losing our home, or we're afraid of losing a business. There are lots and lots of things that it's reasonable to feel fearful about right now. But maybe we should just talk a little bit about fear as it relates to embracing God's will for our lives. There's a pastor in Oregon who I admire very much. His name is John Corson. And John has gone through some very, very difficult things over the years. He lost his first wife. He lost his daughter. He more recently lost a son. And so I have to say that when John Corson talks about the will of God, I listen. And here's what John said about the will of God. John Corson said, God's will in your life means he is doing exactly what you would do if you had all the facts. That's powerful, isn't it? Truth is, we don't have all the facts. Only God does. When we're looking at our lives and we're looking at the things that we're fearful about, and when we're hesitant to really embrace God's will, not knowing for sure what it is, we have to keep in mind that we don't know what we don't know. Today as you pray, And as you decide how to relate to God and His will for your life, remember, you don't know what you don't know, but God, He knows everything. And we can, in fact, trust Him. You know, we have an amazing example in Jesus Himself. Yesterday we talked about how in Jesus, God stepped into our broken world and identified with us in our brokenness. We see Jesus the night that He was arrested, just hours before His arrest and hours more before His crucifixion. He was in a garden and He was praying about what was about to happen. And Jesus asked the Father if there's any other way to redeem mankind besides me going to the cross. Let's do it that other way. But He added, nevertheless, not my will be done, but your will be done. So He modeled for us, facing fear and embracing God's will. E. Stanley Jones was a Methodist missionary to India, and he gave what I think is a classic illustration of what's happening when we pray. He said that prayer is surrender to the will of God and cooperation with that will. Here's the illustration. He said, if I throw a boat hook from the boat and catch hold of the shore and pull, do I pull the shore to me or do I pull myself to the shore? And so he concludes, prayer is not pulling God to my will, but the aligning of my will to the will of God. A lot of times we say that prayer changes things, and that's true. I've been in people's homes and seen, a plaque on the wall that says prayer changes things, and that is absolutely true. We need to be reminded of that today. But not only does prayer change things, also, and maybe even more importantly, prayer, it changes me. And so as we think about the power of praying the Lord's Prayer, we've acknowledged that there are times when we don't know what to say to God or how to say it, and how especially in this time, it's hard to know how to pray, even though we have reason to pray and this season to pray. So if I were praying this third petition of the Lord's Prayer, I might pray something like this. I might pray, thank you that you have a plan for us. In the midst of this crisis, I choose to unself, to not only put you first, but to put others before myself. May I not be self-seeking, self-serving, or self-willed in my relationship with you or with others. Show us your will. Lead us, guide us, help us stay strong in this moment, and give us the courage to create the future that you've planned for us. I hope once again this has been encouraging to you, and that you can make prayer a part of your new rhythm during this very strange time. And so once again, just a reminder, we're launching Sola Church in Santa Monica this fall. If you haven't done it yet, please visit our website, solachurch.life. Check out our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Sola Church LA. And let us know if you or someone you know would be interested in being part of an online startup party. Because we can't meet in person, we're going to move our startup parties online. We're going to announce the first startup party this week, and we'd love for you or for someone you know on the west side of LA to be a part of that. So reach out to us, leave a comment, send us a message, let's connect. God bless you guys. Have a great Wednesday.